this is Silvia Pavoni, economics editor of the bank, and I'm talking to Albert Cefis, who is the executive vice president and head of global transaction banking for Scotiabank. Alberta, I was just asking you what were the key themes that you picked up from this year's Felaban.
No question, the themes that resonated were, one, the importance of emerging markets. Second, the importance of the Asia bloc of countries, and China in particular, and the resonance for Latin America in terms of trade corridors. And I think the third important thematic was a fairly bullish outlook when it came to the economies still of emerging markets, and in particular, I would say in LATAM. Good growth prospects, good fundamentals, an ability to keep growing at a measurable pace. So I think overall, all good news, particularly if you're from the region. And probably the other thing that is common at Felaban every year is this exchange in thought leadership. And that's always prevalent, and no doubt here again this year.
Do you have a particular inclination towards some of these markets? Is there a bunch of markets that excite you more than others, perhaps, within Latin America?
That's an excellent question, because as a large international bank, Scotiabank plays in 58 different countries, and trade, of course, is part of my portfolio and a big portfolio for our bank, and we are a bank that is focused in emerging markets, principally LATAM, a very big bank in LATAM, and that's really Central South America. We're also a very big bank in the Caribbean, and increasingly so in Asia. So when you look at trade flows and you look at our footprint, the big advantage that we see is really exploiting these trade flows. And there are two major opportunities that we see. One is interregional trade, because there is interregional trade within LATAM and within Asia. The second is the hugely important emerging corridor of South-South trade. And that, again, we're very well positioned to exploit with our network in Asia and our network here in LATAM.
And so product-wise, obviously, trade finance is one of the key products that is being discussed here. But did you have a chance also to explore other products and services that banks are talking to each other about?
Yes, absolutely. Although trade is a big part of what we do here, and essentially, as you know, it's a bank customer base that we have here. We do talk about correspondent banking services that we provide in our respective markets. So, as you know, we sell ours, but other banks sell theirs. So that's certainly a part of our discussions. Bank trade is certainly another part of the discussions, along with all the permutations that exist around it, like risk appetites, funding for trade lines, risk participations. The third subject, which is not as emphasized, but still quite important, is the whole subject of cash management and payments, and the ability where, for example, a correspondent bank might not have an on-the-ground presence like, say, Scotiabank would have, to fill in and be that cash management bank of choice for their customers, or payments bank, and provide the on-the-ground coverage.
So there is quite a lot going on at Felaban, and we can actually hear in the background that there are also some celebrations starting, although it's not quite the end of it. So thank you again so much for your comments, and best of luck for the rest of the meetings today.
My pleasure, Silvia. A presto.